Behind bars tonight, a man has been charged in the case of a missing Missouri 3-year-old.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on. This is KOMU 8 News at 9 on the CW.
And I'm Kim St. Ange. Thanks for joining us. It's a story that might sound familiar. Columbia police continue to search for a man who robbed a Regions bank this morning. Police say the robber walked into the bank on South Providence, handed the teller a note which they say implied he had a weapon and demanded money. Police say he then left the bank on foot with the cash. Now, you might remember a very similar robbery a few weeks ago at the Martinsburg Bank and Trust Branch on East Nifong. At that robbery, a similar story, a man walked in, slipped the teller a note, and walked away with the cash. But there's no word if the two robberies are linked. All right, thanks, Nick. Parking meter fines increased from $5 to $10 this March. Important to note, if you don't pay off your parking fines in 15 days, the fine moves up to $25. Absolutely. Thanks so much. Why racial tension may have played a part. In your national news tonight, a U.S. Airways flight was diverted to Boston today due to smoke in the cabin. Flight 749 was traveling from Madrid to Charlotte, North Carolina, with 192 passengers on board when smoke started to dissipate. The pilot made a safe landing this morning at Logan Airport as a precaution. No passengers were injured, but 4 flight attendants complained of suffering from scratchy throats and were taken to a hospital for evaluation. A maintenance crew is checking the plane to try and determine what caused the smoke.
With 16,892 Iowans voting, the winner of the 2011 Iowa straw poll is Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann.
Republican presidential candidate Michelle Bachmann won the Iowa straw poll today, edging out Ron Paul by 152 votes. Bachmann won 29% of the ballots cast. Tim Pawlenty, who needed a strong showing to boost his campaign's momentum, finished in a distant third with 14% of the vote. Rick Santorum pulled in 10% of the vote for 4th place, while Herman Cain, Rick Perry, Mitt Romney, Newt Gingrich, John Huntsman, and Thaddeus McCotter rounded out the field. And 25 people were injured this morning when a bus flipped on its side on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. The Greyhound bus was on its way from New York to St. Louis when the accident occurred at about 6 a.m. The injured passengers were taken to 3 hospitals, and officials don't know how severe the injuries are. According to advocates for the highway and auto safety, more than 300 people have been injured in the tour bus accidents this year. The cause of the crash is still being investigated. Carl Edwards doing a little road racing. Find out what he said about a restart that changed his fate today at Watkins Glen. And here's a story that's been getting a lot of positive feedback across the web. Darla Harlow had the privilege of throwing out the first ceremonial pitch at the Big M Braves minor league game in Mississippi early this week. What she didn't know, the man behind the catcher's mask was her husband, Major Michael Harlow, her husband who had been serving in Afghanistan. Major Harlow worked with the team and his daughters to pull off the surprise.